Hey everybody, how we doing tonight? How is everybody? I hope everybody's well. So listen, I don't know. Hopefully we won't have any problems tonight. We'll see. If we do, if it gets messed up, just go back to my homepage. I will start a new one. Okay, so just kind of that's kind of the heads up as far as that goes. So just we'll see how it all plays out. Okay. So anyway, before we get started, um, I just like to tell everybody this is a family-friendly oriented channel, so please keep it kind, be decent to each other, just so that we can be respectful of each other. And if there's after I'm done talking, if there's any kind of questions that you have, please all cap lock so it stands out for me. Okay. So anyway, we're going to be talking. Has the PC culture gone too far? And I think the first one we're going to talk about, you're going to just absolutely love, and then we're going to get into some other stuff as well. But it is. I know the picture is a little blurry. I don't know why that is, but so anyway, but it's working right now, so that's a good thing, I guess. So hopefully that is going to continue and we won't have an issue. But low resolution. Well, as long as it's working, I'm happy. All the issues that we've had with the streams. And like I said, I know it's not just my channel, guys. There's all kinds of channels out there that are having, issues. I'd stay away from the tequila. Yeah, right, exactly. So a lot of channels are having problems. It's just, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're putting new stuff up, or who knows what YouTube is doing. So it just, it definitely interesting anyway. But so let's get into topic. We're talking about the PC culture going too far. So now here's a great one, and I'm sure you guys have heard about this in the news, but we're going to talk about this one. This is the latest and the greatest one. In New York City, Bloomberg, the mayor down there, they have a thing now. You cannot use the term illegal alien, and if you do, you can be fined up to $250,000. Now, first of all, how ridiculous is that? If you are an illegal alien, you are an illegal alien. That's it. You're either in this country legally or you're not in this country legally. So I don't know, it just, that's part of the PC culture that has gone absolutely beyond ridiculous. Okay. I mean, every time that you turn around now, somebody's offended. They're offended by this. They're offended by that. They're offended by the other thing. It's just, yeah, right. So, it's gotten to a point, like I said, it's absolutely insane. Every time you turn around, somebody is offended by something. Could be smoking. Who knows? I mean, it's just there's the laundry list of things that people are offended by now, and the PC culture, the political correctness, to try to satisfy everybody is just out of control. Here's my thing. If you're offended, too bad. That's on you. If you don't like it, then don't do it or don't watch it or whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't understand why people act the way they do, and it just absolutely amazes me. I mean, it's like we have to cater now to everybody's whim and perceived defense, and it's absolutely insane. My rights don't end where your feelings begin. Exactly, Pamela Sherry just said that. I like that. That's actually, it's great. John said, it's insane how everyone gets so mad about everything. Exactly. My thing has always been this. If you don't like something, then don't watch it. Don't expect somebody to change something. It's like you have, okay, so I'm going to use this as an example, okay? Some people like chewing tobacco. I particularly do not. I think it's disgusting. Okay, I tried it when I was like 16 one time, and I had the crap all in my teeth, and I couldn't stand it. But just because I don't like it, I'm not going to tell you shouldn't do that because I don't like it. It offends me. Who am I to tell anybody else what they can and cannot do? So everybody gets a participation award, though. Yeah, that's the other thing that's absolutely ridiculous now. We are teaching our children that they don't have to put any effort into anything, and then they're going to be rewarded. That's another thing that's absolutely insane. When I was growing up, you had first, second, and third. Okay, so if first place trophy was huge because you worked your butt off and you got that first place trophy. Hey, Mountain Girl, how you doing tonight? With the way the world is going, people wonder why I want to live off grid. That's just one reason. I agree with you 100%. I cannot tell you, and thank you for that donation too. I cannot tell you guys how much I love where I live just because I don't have somebody right up my butt. I don't have people offended by every little thing that I do. I mean, well, okay, so here's another great example, okay? In the summertime, when it's hot, and if I'm outside and I'm doing something, I don't have a shirt on, okay? It's just the way that I do it. If I'm sweating like a pig, I don't have a shirt on because I'm sweaty and I don't want to have a shirt on. I'll put a bandana on. I'll do what I got to do. You would not believe the number of people that have come on my channel and told me, you need, and I love that word, guys. This is one of my favorites. You need to. No, I don't need to do anything, you need to put a shirt on. What do you think? You look good without a shirt on? And my reply was, I don't really care what I look like without a shirt on. I don't wear a shirt because it's comfortable for me, not because I'm so concerned that somebody's going to be offended because I don't have my shirt on. I mean, that's just another great example. So Russell Williams says no failing grades either because it might hurt somebody's feelings. Right. Well, it's ridiculous how they have it now that you can't give somebody a certain grade because, well, I'm going to give you a great example. I had my 10th grade teacher. Great. You're going to love the story. 10th grade teacher for social studies. This was one of my favorite teachers of all time. I would go and visit him after I graduated from high school because I thought so much of the guy. So our first day of class, he says to me, or not just to me, but to the whole class, he says, if you do nothing in my class, if you come in my class every day and do no work whatsoever, the lowest grade I will give you is a 50. He said, because if you decide, then like for the quarter, for the 10-week period, marking period, he said, I'll give you a 50. He said, because if you decide the next semester to actually put in an effort, you can bring that 50 up to a passing grade. And so that's what he did. And I got to tell you a true story. So here's his podium. I sat right here in the first seat, right next to his podium. And for that first 10 weeks, for whatever reason, I would get to his class and I would be exhausted. I would put my hand like this, put my head here, turn my head, and I would fall asleep in his class every day. Every day for that first 10 weeks. And at the end of that first 10 weeks, I got my grade, and it was a 50. And so I was like, okay, I got to stop screwing around. And I did. I stopped screwing around and I got my grade up. And he ended up being one of my favorite teachers. But, he basically said, this is your choice. He goes, if you don't want to do nothing, he goes, that's fine. He goes, don't bother nobody else. He says, just sit there and don't bother nobody, and you're going to get that 50. So, but again, it's like we live in a culture now where, if you talk to a child and you say, if you correct that child, the parents are going to come in to that school and go completely bananas on the staff and everything else. Now, that child could be a snotty little brat, but that doesn't matter, not to the parent. The parent's going to defend that child no matter what. And it's like, I'm going to tell you what, I always said, if my child stepped out of line in school, they're going to deal with the consequences of school, and then they're going to deal with the consequences at home. Now, obviously, you guys know, my kids are squared away. Eddie had his own issues as far as school went, and, we've kind of gone into them. But, Heather just always did what she had to do. I mean, she was right on top of stuff all the time. So let's see. Hey, Karen, you're late again. Well, you made it, so that's a good thing. And so far, so good with everything. And again, guys, if there ends up being any kind of an issue tonight, just go back to my main channel. I will be putting up another one. So we already got a halfway decent crowd for the start of this tonight, which is good. So, yeah, because you're not allowed to spank anymore. I love that. I saw a post today, and here's another thing. So we're going to go on and on with this whole PC thing. So I saw a post today on Facebook. should parents be allowed, and I love that term too, should parents be allowed to spank their children? I'm not asking for anybody's permission if I can spank my child or not, because I'm going to tell you what, big believer in corporal punishment. My children, if they got out of line, they got a swat on the behind. Now, I don't believe in hitting a kid in the head or in the body, a swat on the behind. And I was always, a spanking for me was 2 shots on the butt, open hand. That's what they got. And believe me, that got their attention. And my stepson, Josh, came into his life at 5. And between 5 and 6, he got 2 spankings from me. And again, both times it was 2 shots on the butt. And both times it was because he was disrespecting his mother, not me. I never had to put my hands on that boy other than that after that ever. Heather, I never spanked Heather not one time in her entire life because she always did what she was supposed to do. Now, she did get in trouble a couple times and got punished, but it didn't necessitate getting a swat, okay? Now, Eddie got it more than anybody else. I'm not going to lie, because I thought that, I'm old school, and I believed that was going to work with him, but because of his autism, that did not work with him. Spanking did not work at all with Eddie. So I had to completely change what I used as a tool for punishment. And for Eddie, it ended up being the laptop. So I would take away his privileges for being on the laptop. So, you find a tool that works and you use that. Now, I'm a big believer in taking away privileges as opposed to being my first resource of giving them a swat. I would rather take away their privileges because, believe me, guys, when I say if they lose phone privileges, if they lose computer privileges, if they lose TV privileges and those type of things like that, that's much more painful than getting a couple of swats on it behind. And it works way, way better. So, got here. I missed something. There's some conversation. Mr. Rose was talking to Wolfgang, so I have no idea what that was. So anyway, what is the PC culture? PC culture is politically correct. We have to be politically correct so we don't offend anybody. That everybody gets, everybody needs a hug or a safe space if they're feeling, anything that they can, not have to deal with it. Okay, that's the politically correctness. Different words that are out there for political correctness and stuff as well. Guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I definitely would appreciate it. So I see we're up to over 400 people in the chat, which is very nice. So anyway, so I wanted to talk about too, so as I was going to tell you earlier today when I did my video, I was going to talk about how many eggs I ended up with today. We ended up with 6 eggs today. We ended up with 6 of the pullet eggs, which were the juvenile eggs, and 2 adult eggs. So we ended up with 6 eggs today here at the homestead, which was nice. Nice and steady. If I get 5-6 eggs a day, that's great. So somebody else was asking me, what do I do with all my eggs? Well, I give a lot of my eggs away, I'll be honest, and I use what I need for my needs. I make sure I have what I have to have, but I do give a lot of eggs away. So that's just me, again, giving back. I got a single mother next door. Her boyfriend is away for a while, so she's by herself with her son. So I give her eggs. Chris and Greg, I give them eggs all the time. My mom comes over. She takes eggs back for my sister and stuff. So, I have them. So why not? And like I said, I eat a lot of scrambled eggs. I do hard-boiled eggs. So I make egg salad sandwiches, all that type of stuff. So it works out really, really well. And I love the chickens. They're a lot of fun, and I enjoy them. And so that's why we do what we do. So, but Paula Gardner says, I am not PC. Well, Paula, I am not either. I don't use certain terms because I don't care. I am old school. I've said things a certain way my whole life. And just because now that they've decided that this is offensive to somebody, we can't use those terms anymore. That's not me. So, like I said, I'm very, very old school, and that's just the way I've always been. My daughter is a freshman at college. Her teacher wants to be called the pronoun they. And that's another one too that is ridiculous as well, in my opinion. Listen, if you identify as a female and you want to be called her, that I don't care about. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. If you identify as a male, you want to be called him, I don't care, whatever. That's, that's a personal preference. You can do whatever you want to do with that. If somebody doesn't want to use that term, that is, that's their prerogative. And if you're going to be offended by that, then that, again, that's on you as an individual. So whatever you want to be, then you can be, so I don't think people are going to get offended when SHTF happens. No, I don't think so either, Drop. When SHTF happens, all political correctness will be out the window. The tolerance is going to be gone. So now spanking is child abuse. Well, that's again, that's ridiculous. PC should be parental control. Exactly. Well, I'm going to tell you what. You want to raise brats that think they can do whatever they want to do? Be PC, be politically correct. And your kids are going to go absolutely hog wild. There's no consequences for their actions. They can do whatever they want to do. They can say whatever they want to say. If you want to raise respectful adults, to children to become respectful adults, you teach them manners. You teach them respect. Those are the things that they need. They need that guidance. They need those boundaries. They really, truly do. Not training your child is child abuse. Leaves an ill-equipped for life. Exactly, Sandy P. I agree with you 100%. Yep. Nuns in grade school broke a broom over one kid. Oh, I'm sure they did. That's old school. Yep. Yeah, it's just, well, you know what, guys? I was raised by my grandparents. So my grandparents were this huge influence in my life. And it was a respect thing. You said please, you said thank you, you said yes sir, you said no sir. If you wanted something, okay, you asked permission to have it. You just didn't take it. It's not your right. You're not entitled to it. That's another problem, the entitlement. Let's not even get into the entitlement. We could talk about entitlement here for a little bit too, though. But you're not entitled to anything. You earned something. It's like respect. Respect is earned. It's not a given. You are not just given respect because you are in a position of power. Here's the funny thing, guys. You want to see how somebody really is? Give them a little bit of power. Put them in a position of power and see how they act. That's how you're going to find out what people are really like. Because a lot of times, and I've seen it happen, they get that position of power and it goes to their head. I mean, it just goes to their head, and it's crazy. So, but what do we got here? Respect is right. Yes, please. No, thank you. Yep. It's just manners. Well, it's the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do. I'm going to give you another great example. Something just happened to me yesterday. I was out. Okay. 2 different examples, same type of situation. So I had gone out on my motorcycle, went for a ride, stopped at the gas station. I come out of the gas station. Young man was coming in, maybe 20, 21 years old. I hold the door. He takes it, doesn't say a word. I look right at him and I go, "You're welcome." Okay. That's what I do. If you don't, it's common courtesy. You need to say thank you. I don't have to hold that door for you. I'm doing it as a courtesy. You should say thank you. If you don't, then I'm going to call you on that by saying you're welcome. And believe me, that always gets them because they don't expect that. Then I went with the kids later, and we went and had lunch. And so we were at the restaurant, and a father was coming in with his 2 kids. And I held the door for him, and he said, "Thank you very much." And I go, "You're very welcome." So again, it's just, it's all on your upbringing. If you are raised to have respect, you're going to have respect. You're going to be a better human being. You don't act like a jerk when the cops pull you over, okay? When the cops pull you over, unless you want to get jammed up, and if you want to go to jail, if you're really into going to jail, then go ahead and act like a jerk, and you will go to jail, okay? Here's the thing, guys, that I think a lot of people don't understand. They watch these videos on YouTube and how these people act where they'll put their window down like this, and then they'll act like a jerk, or or whatever they're going to do, okay? If you just are respectful and act decently, a lot of times they will let you off with a warning. Now, it could be a completely BS stop, and it's a BS stop. I've had them, guys. I've talked to you guys about BS stops that have happened to me personally because of the way I look and stuff like that, okay? But again, I didn't act like a jerk. I didn't come off with a huge attitude. I just dealt with it act respectful. I have nothing to hide. I have a clean record. I have no tickets on my license, nothing, no points, nothing. So who cares? You know what I mean? You want to run my license? There you go. Knock yourself out. I'm not going to have any warrants. There's nothing going on. I have nothing to worry about because you know what? I keep myself squared away. I mind my own business. I don't bother nobody, and that's the whole thing. So, yeah, sovereign citizen traveling. I love that too. Oh, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. Well, if you're in a car and you're in a different state, you have to have a license. That's just the way it is. That's the game that's got to be played. You don't want, and a lot of the ones, guys, that are sovereign citizens are ones that have had their licenses taken away because of DWI or whatever other reason, or excessive, too many speeding tickets or whatnot. So, yeah. Let's see. I had to be stopped for a loud truck I have called a thrush exhaust. Oh, a BS stop. Yeah, it happens, guys. I mean, it's going to happen. And it's just, but again, if you act respectful a lot of the times, and here's what I would suggest to anybody. If you can do it. Now, I don't have it in my car. I don't, but if you can do it, get a camera and stuff set up in your car. So there was a thing where the guy was driving and he was in this souped up kind of car and he was driving and he was doing a video. He was doing a live stream video talking to people. And the cops pulled out and they said, yeah, we could hear loud music coming from your car. And he says, well, I'm going to respectfully tell you that I didn't have loud music coming out of my car. You see the camera right here. He goes, I'm doing a live stream right now and I can play it back for you and show you that I didn't do it. So boy, then their tune changed really quickly. So if you can do that, if you can set that up in your cars, record everything, just for your own safety. That's the thing, is because here's the thing is a camera don't lie, and the other thing you got to remember too, if you act like a jerk, when you go to court, the court's always going to believe the cop and never believe you. That's just the way it goes. I don't care if you're 100% in the right, if you were 100% innocent. If the cop said this is how it went down, guess what? If you don't have video recording of to contradict what is being said, it went down just like the cop said. Don't matter, because that's it. They're all in it together. It's a big game. The prosecutor, the judge, the district attorney, all that, they're all in it together. So, why buck that system? You're not going to win. So, Mr. Rose, can I get a mod application for Christmas? You know what, Mr. Rose? I'll talk about that with you. Well, not for Christmas, obviously. I could make you a moderator, though. I see you're on here all the time. So, but yeah, we could probably do that. We could make you a moderator. They are officers of the court. Robert Blakemore just said exactly, and the courts want money. That's what it comes down to, guys. It's revenue. It's revenue. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that happen that we need the police for. And it's funny, too. Everybody hates the police until they need them, which I think is kind of interesting. Like I said, I have a healthy respect. They're doing a job. And like I said, I don't have nothing in my car ever, so I don't have to worry about it. So that's just the way I just do it. All right, cool. Thank you very much, Mr. Rose. Yeah, I will. Let me see. Actually, I can probably do it right now. Hold on. All right, Mr. Rose, you are now a moderator. So thank you for offering that. I appreciate that. And you are all set now. So anyway, guys, yeah, respect should be earned at home, not at school, or should be learned. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Respect, guys, is, you teach your children respect. You teach them at a young age. I'm going to give you another great example of respect, okay? So growing up, when the kids were young, 7 o'clock was bedtime. And I probably talked about this before, okay? But 7 o'clock was bedtime. And so they knew at 7 o'clock they had to shut down whatever they were doing. They would go and they would brush their teeth, and then it was time for bed. And then my ex-wife and I would tuck them in, and that was it. It was 7 o'clock. So if we had company over and we're all talking, like, adults were sitting there talking, 7 o'clock would come, those kids would shut down automatically and start heading upstairs. And I remember the one day my one friend was like, what are they doing? And I looked and I went, oh, it's 7 o'clock. I said, they shut down, they're going to brush their teeth, and they're going to go to bed. And they're like, they just do it on their own? I said, it's all they've known. This is the routine. This is what we do. I don't even have to say, now a lot of times I would say, okay, it's 7:00, let's shut it down. Okay. But they knew it was automatically ingrained. They're trained like anybody else is trained. That's what they do. They don't know any different. When I see these parents that their kids are up to 1, 2:00 in the morning, running through the house, acting all crazy, always blame the parents on that one because they allow that children to act that way. Okay. Nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And so, no, that is not acceptable. So, yep, new mod, Mr. Rose. So anyway, yeah, so it's just, it's lazy parents. Exactly, Kevin H. It's lazy parents. They just, they don't want to be parents. They want to be friends. They want to be friends with their kids, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason for it. You are not their friend. You are their parent. You need to be their parent. Kids need boundaries. So, that's all part of that whole political correctness movement. They want to be buddies with their kids. And it's just, that's not the way it should be. It's, just the whole culture of that politically correctness stuff. And again, somebody could be offended about anything. And it's like, and you're supposed to curtail the way you are to appease that person, which is, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. My thing is, if you're offended, either don't watch, turn a channel, go look at something else, or go do something else. So Norway, Sweden have such strict laws about child rearing that children have all the power at home. Karen just said that. Well, and again, that is that's the fault of the people for allowing that to happen. Because I'm going to tell you what, I'll be honest with you. I don't care what laws they put on the books when it comes to raising children. When my children have children and they come to visit Grandpa, it's going to be Grandpa's rules, and they're going to know that, and they will follow the rules when they're at Grandpa's. And if they don't like it, then they don't have to come back. So that's how that works, Yeah, bottom line, JJ Biggs just said, bottom line is raise your kids to do the right thing. If you give them that foundation, Ed, I say you're welcome after holding the door. To one guy tried arguing, you don't have to hold the door, but it's a respect thing. Exactly, and that's exactly what it is. It's a common courtesy. Holding the door and I'm going to tell you what, I don't care if it's a man, woman, child, whoever, I will hold the door. If it's a guy, I'll tell you what, I'll hold the door like this, hold it open, and then he grabs it and comes in. If it's a lady, I will hold the door and I'll say, go ahead. That's how I roll. That's what I do. That's what I taught my boys. And my daughter the same way. She's the same way. So, so it's just, like I said, it's just a respect thing. And I think it's really, really important that we have that because it's really going out the window in this society. It is wrong that kids are parented by the government and can be taken away for any reason. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I see common courtesy fading. Yes, you are absolutely right. It is, and it's very sad. Kids are not raised with respect anymore. It's very, very unfortunate, but it happens absolutely all the time. Guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I would definitely appreciate that. Thank you ahead of time. I see we're at 228. Yeah, so thank you very much. Let's see. Yeah, well, the thing is, you got to understand too. If the courts can take away your children and put them in the system, then the system's raising your kids, and they're making more money off of it. So that's a very, very sad part of that as well. Yeah, too many kids are being raised by daycare. Sandy P just said, I agree with you 100%. When we had our children, I had told my ex-wife, I said, you stay home with the kids until they're in school. When they're in school, I asked her to go back to work part-time. That was it. Not full-time. I didn't want her to work full-time, just part-time. So that's what we did. So we raised our children, from that time that they were little, they were always with either me or my ex. And that's how it just was. So, if you can do it, I think it's really, really important. Women are usually shocked when you open the door for them. Nowadays, a lot of them are. A lot of them are. That's it's unfortunate. It shouldn't be like that. Or they get all bent out of shape because you hold the door for them. Well, that's too bad. Again, if you're offended because I hold the door for you, that's on you. That's the way I look at it. When people are offended by something like that, that's on them. The most humble kids I know how to prep at young ages. Well, yeah, because they're taught. They're taught that, and that's the way it should be. We will get respect and common courtesy back after the current state of affairs hits bottom. Jason Schmidt just said that. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. When things go completely south in this country, which eventually they will, it's gearing up for it. I see it all the time. It will definitely, that will be something that is going to be an important foundation for this rebuilding, and that's what we need to have. We definitely need to have a rebuilding. System makes money, no adoption in the foster homes. Right, you're exactly. Elizabeth Cope just said that. Yeah, the foster care system is it's a terrible thing as well. You look at all the kids that are abused in foster care; it is absolutely horrible. And not all foster parents are bad guys. Please don't try to say that I said that, because I'm not. A lot of foster parents do a great job raising kids, and they're there for the kids, and that's really, really important. And so they do serve a very important function, but not all of them are there for the right reasons. A few YouTube channels think we are already in a Cold War. Well, I wouldn't say we're in a Cold War. I'm going to tell you what, and I've said this, guys, 100 times, and I'll say it again. Russia is not the issue. Everybody wants to make Russia the boogeyman. Russia is not the one we need to worry about. China is the one we need to worry about. That's who we need to worry about. So, people can think whatever they want as far as that goes, but I'm going to tell you what I've been saying now. I used to always say 20 years, but I've been saying it for 30. China's the one we got to worry about. Definitely China. They want to be the next superpower, trust me. Simple respect for others makes people feel good. Deborah just said that. You know what? You're 100% right. It's definitely, it's just like when I talked about guys giving that random person a compliment for no reason for whatsoever. Just give them a compliment. It makes people feel good when you give somebody that compliment, like the way their hair looks, the way they're dressed or whatever like that, or like, I really like that outfit. It looks really nice on you. Or I like the way that you have your hair. I think that looks really nice on you. It suits you, or whatever kind of compliment. Or here's a great way to give a compliment. I've been to fast food restaurants or a restaurant or whatever, and somebody that is on staff, and they just do an excellent job. They're right on top of stuff, and they're really good. I've gone up to them and I've said, listen, I just wanted to tell you, I think you're doing a fantastic job. I see the way that you're interacting with the customers, and I just think you do a fantastic job. You know how good that makes somebody feel when that is recognized, that effort that they're putting in? That makes all the difference in the world. So I think, and you get so much more honey with, or more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. So that makes a big difference. What's more likely to happen, a war between the U.S. or China, or it's going to be a civil war? You know what? That's hard to say, Brandon. I don't see us having a major war with China unless they can disarm us. I don't think that any country, honestly, is going to come in here unless it's like a nuclear exchange. I don't see any country coming in here with boots on the ground, because they would not just be facing our soldiers. They would be facing a citizenry of citizenry. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but anyway, the citizens. We have so many weapons that it just would be a very, very losing cause for them to do that. The cost of life would be tremendous if they try to put boots on the ground in this country before they ever. If they disarmed us, then we're sitting ducks. Okay, but other than that, no. But as far as a civil war, I hope we never have a civil war. It would not be a good situation. It would be nobody would win. Nobody would win in that situation, because you would have this group and this group wanting to fight each other. Now, will there maybe be skirmishes some places? That's a possibility. But then I'm going to tell you right now, if that happens, you're going to see the government lock down those areas really, really quickly. So I don't think you would see a full-out civil war. I don't see that happening. But there definitely could be some skirmishes here and there. But if they do, they're going to lock down that city, that area, or whatever with martial law in a heartbeat and squash that really, really quickly. So, yeah, if socialism wins, we are sunk. Yeah, it's amazing to me how many people think that socialism is a good thing. It's absolutely amazing to me because they have no idea. They haven't studied their history. They have no idea whatsoever. So, not a good situation. Not a good situation at all. Not much common sense left. Not much common manners left. And a whole lot of common core. Go figure. Yeah, that whole common core thing is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And the way that they try to do math with these kids, have you seen any of that? I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. Don't do it the easy way. Let's do it this hard, long-fangled, figure-out way. And if you do it the easy way and get the right answer, then you're wrong. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Who will fight in a civil war? Again, it would depend on what that situation would call for, depending on what the Civil War was about. You're never going to see, and I really truly don't. You're never going to see a North and South type of thing again. That's not the way it would be as far as the Civil War, because we have so many intermixing of people from all parts of the country, all over. We have so much travel. You have people from the South up here. You have people from the North going down south. So I don't think you're going to see that type of civil war. You may see more of a left-right type of thing going on. But again, what people don't realize is if we end up having some kind of civil unrest due to the left-right thing, okay, the government wins on that, guys, and that's exactly what they want. So we can't give them what they want as far as that goes. Do you think the Marine soldiers were given a questionnaire and asked if they would fire upon U.S. population if needed? I don't have any idea. I don't think that they were given that question. I've never heard of that. I would hope that because they wouldn't want somebody firing on their family. I don't think you're going to see soldiers doing that. You might see some that would do it, but not very many, I don't think. I think a lot of people, you'd have revolts if they asked for people to fire on U.S. citizens. Now, the police, on the other hand, that might be a different story. Yeah, somebody just said it would most likely be due to gun rights. Now, there you might see some civil unrest because of that, because people are not going to give up their guns. They're just not going to do it. Some will. And I'm not going to tell you that they won't. I had somebody message me the other day, and they were from Australia, and they had said that with the gun laws the way they are over there, it's like so restrictive. He goes, there's definitely other people have guns and they have them buried or hidden or whatever, and that's the way it would be here too. People would do that same thing. They would have them hidden away, stashed away for when necessary and when needed. So. And that is exactly what would happen. Yeah, if you come from my guns, make sure you bring yours, Kevin H. Again, and that's why I've talked about not keeping all your eggs in one basket, guys. Don't if you have a gun safe, don't keep all your guns in that gun safe, because if somebody knocks on your door and they're coming in, they're coming in. And so, if you have all of your weaponry in that one spot, then you're going to have nothing. So definitely diversify, have things in different places, not even just your place, have some stuff buried if you can do that. That's just my advice. So you can do whatever you want to do, but I would not don't ever keep all your eggs in one basket. So that's important. Let's see. I homeschooled my children, never regretted it, would recommend it to anyone who can. Martha Stone just said that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Homeschooling the kids, then what kind of education they're getting. They're going to get a better education, in my opinion. Schools are just, unless your kid's in advanced classes, okay, like where Heather was in every advanced class that there could possibly be in school. So she was in with the same group of people pretty much all the way going up through school because of where she was with her grades. If you are in remedial classes, and there's nothing, I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying you're not getting that kind of education as their upper echelon kids are getting. They're getting the best of the best because they put that effort in. I'm telling you right, and I told you guys before, I graduated at the bottom of my class because I wouldn't do the work. Nobody pushed me to, do that. And so that was why I ended up where I ended up with that in school. So, but that's okay. It happens, After I got out of school and I went back to school, that's when I applied myself because that's what I wanted then. So I was always questioning everything, guys. I always bucked the system. But I learned that it's a game and you got to play the game. So if you can play the game to a point, but keep your respect and your dignity, that's fine. I always see that here's the thing with this system, okay? The system with job, whatever, the whole game, if you will, okay? There is a certain amount of crap that you're going to have to eat. What it comes down to, realistically, is what is an acceptable amount of crap that you're willing to eat. And that's what it always comes down to. So that's a personal decision for yourself, and you have to make that decision. So, Hey, Happy Elf, welcome aboard. Had to feed the animals. I get it. You got to do what you got to do. Absolutely makes sense. But, yeah, it's cool that my kids get out and help stack wood, even though they might not like it. They don't like stacking it. I guarantee you they don't like stacking it. But they like being warm. And so, that's part of that's part of what they got to do. And they know that. And, we work together. It's not, people have this misconception when you make your kids do things around the house or, and stuff like that, outside chores, that like you're sitting in a chair someplace watching them work. You're not. I'm not. I'm right there with them. We're doing it together. And that's what it's all about. It's working together. So, and here's the best part. When you have children, you lead by example. Okay. So if you're out there putting in that effort and they see that, and, and I would always tell them, we do this together. It goes faster, and then you can go and do what you want to do. And that was always it. We had a chore, we banged it out, and then we could move on. You guys got the rest of the day. It's not like I was working my kids 8 hours a day. It was never like that. But, they were expected to pitch in, and they did. And they're, and they're good with it. Eddie is too. He has no issue. He might not always like it, but, he knows that it has to be done. So it's all about teamwork. Yep. Yeah, good lesson in teamwork. Absolutely, Drop. Absolutely. It's how it should be. But our culture, guys, I'll tell you what, it's just the whole political correctness now is absolutely gone way, way beyond insane. Everybody's offended by everything, and people just need to grow up. Suck it up. And just, if you don't like something, you don't have to like it. That's fine. That's perfect. You're entitled to your own opinion. You can have that opinion. But don't feel like you're going to try to impose your will on somebody else to change their thinking of the way they do things because it makes you uncomfortable. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's on you. So, homeschooling is definitely ideal for preppers. Yeah, it definitely helps. It definitely helps, especially with everything that's going on. Wolfang says, I don't like your background. That's funny. Yeah, but it's just, people are just, it's gotten crazy. And I watch these things and I see this stuff on the news and I'm like, really? I get sent links all the time too, which I love. I have different people sending me links. Love the information that I get. And it's just, it amazes me. It absolutely amazes me. We just live in a society. And and the funny thing is they talk about this, they don't tolerate bullying and all this stuff. Guys, you know what? Bullying goes on in schools all the time. It happens all the time. And if you think there's no bullying going on, then you're sadly mistaken and you're living inside some kind of bubble because it continues to happen. It will always happen. There's always going to be that hierarchy in school. Okay. When I was in school, we had your brains, your jocks, your heads, and then you had your preppies, and then you had your Then you had your outcast group. I don't even know what title you want to put on them, but there was always that one group of people that were the outcasts. They weren't like everybody else, and they were the bottom of the food chain. It was just the way it was, and nobody messed with the heads because the heads didn't care. And when I say heads, I'm talking your drinkers and your druggers. They didn't care. They whoop your butt in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So, and the jocks all clicked up, and your preppies were all clicked up, and your brainiacs all kept in their group. You know what I mean? It's just the way it was. Nobody really messed with the brainiacs because they kind of just did their own thing. But and they didn't bother nobody because they weren't fighters. It's like Heather. Heather was a little brainiac, so she had this group of people that she hung out with that were all that same type of mindset, and they kind of just did their own thing. None of those kids were in trouble, because they went to work or went to school and did their work and focused on that. And but yeah, it's just the way it is. Bats are horrible. No, bats are awesome. Bats eat bugs like crazy. So I'm actually, what I'm going to eventually do here is put up some bat houses out on some of the outer trees farther out on the property so that they can attract bats, and they come in here and eat these freaking bugs. Can't stand the bugs. I'm offended by bugs. So, well, guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I would definitely appreciate that. I see we're at 306 on the thumbs up. So, I'm Transylvanian, Gypsy Girl. That's funny. Let's see. Ban all bugs. Yeah, well, some bugs are okay, but just I hate the little flying natty things that all get in your face. I can't stand that. So, planting mint all over dry skeeters off. Okay, well, I better plant some of that around then, because this year was the worst. I'm telling you right now, guys, this was the worst year I've ever seen for ticks. It was a real bad year for ticks, real bad year for mosquitoes and everything. We had a lot of rain, though, this year, so a lot of rain. So it just, it was just a really, really bad year this year for bugs. It was absolutely crazy, but you do what you can. That's why I want to get that greenhouse up. I think I'm hopefully next year we'll get that greenhouse up, because then I can go in and I can have my garden in a controlled environment and really get an idea of working with it better that way. This year was not a good year for the garden. The last couple of years were really good, but this year just was not. Why are you prepping, please? Oh, somebody's asking why am I prepping? Okay. And who was it? It was RMac. Okay. Why I prep. I prep for whatever inevitability will happen. Okay. Prepping for me is a way of life, because you never know what's going to happen. Again, with prepping, this is what you're prepared for when you prep, guys. Okay. So when you prep, this is what I'm prepared for. I'm prepared for any kind of an emergency that's going to affect just my family. Could be loss of job. Somebody dies in the family. Somebody's injured and can't, do the things that they used to do. So that's one of the reasons why we prep. We prep for natural disasters. Any kind of natural disaster that's going to happen, you are prepared for that. So puts you in a position not only to be okay to ride through that natural disaster, but to be able to help other people that need help in that natural disaster. And hopefully you can wake other people up to prep. Okay. Another reason to prep is for any kind of major event that may happen. That way you're also ready for that. Hold on a second, guys. I got somebody scratching. Sorry about that. Soxy scratching on the door, demanding, stop. Now stop. Be good. Wanting to come in, so she will not stop. She will just sit there and scratch and scratch and scratch. So I have to address that, get her in, and then that's the end of that. Yeah, I prepare because I'm awake. Yeah, exactly. There's so many things that could happen. It could be natural disaster, man-made disaster, pandemic, any of those type of things. There's so many possibilities of things that could happen. Socks. cat's right here. There's so many things that could happen that we need to be ready for. And so if you are not prepared, the biggest reason I got into prepping, and this is my number one reason to get into prepping. And so if you have children, I think that would be a top priority for most people. I got into prepping because I did not want to be in a position where I could not take care of my children if something happens. So that's the number one reason why I got into prepping, because I never wanted to look my children in the face and say, I didn't think enough to prepare for this type of an emergency, so now you don't have anything to eat. I never wanted to do that. I wanted to make sure that I could always make sure my kids could be safe, warm, have a roof over their head, and fed. Those are the priorities when a major thing, something major happens, is those are the reasons. So I always, once I got into prepping, that was my main thing. And then I obviously expanded from there. So, and now we live on our homestead, or retreat, if you want to call it that, full time. And it was the best decision I ever made. If you can do it, guys, highly, highly, highly recommend to live on your retreat or your bug out location full time, if you can do it. Because the best reason why, if something happens or when something happens, you're already there. And all your stuff is already there. So that's the number one reason why it is really, really good to live at your retreat full time. And I've talked about that before, and I read a book. And in the book, the guy said, he lived on his retreat full time, and he definitely recommended that. And it just made so much sense to me, because I can remember when I lived in Greece, and if you go back and you look at my old videos when I used to make them in the basement, and if you just looked at that video in the basement and saw all the stuff that we had, okay, in that basement, if something had happened, like a major event happened, and we had to bug out and go to our bug out location, we were getting 2 carloads because we had 2 vehicles. So we're taking the kids, the animals, and as much stuff that we could have jammed into 2 cars. We would have had to leave so much behind, it would have been ridiculous. And I didn't like that. So moving to the retreat full time and living full time on the retreat was the best, absolutely best decision I ever made. The lifestyle is so much better, and it's much more peaceful. And so that, like I said, it's absolutely the best decision I ever made. Have we had our difficulties? Absolutely we have, but we've overcome everything, and it's worked out really, really well. And I love it. And I don't miss, the only thing that I miss, honestly, and I think I've talked about this, the only thing I miss from when I lived in suburbia was everything was so close. Whenever we wanted to go and do anything, it was within 15 minutes away. That's the only difference, and that's the only thing I miss. But I love the privacy. I love being able to go out at night and get up and look at the stars and see all the stars. It's just so much better. It's and the old ways are better, right? JJ said the old ways work better than the new ways. They absolutely do. And you have a lot less stressful life, a lot less stress on you in that aspect. So that's really, really, for me, that's the biggest thing. It's peace of mind. There's no price tag, guys, on peace of mind. I'm telling you that right now. Peace of mind is the best, absolutely best thing you could possibly have. So, guys, let's see, what are we at? 358. Let's see if we can hit 400 on the thumbs up, guys. We got 514 people in the chat. We're at 358 on the thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing, if you like to enjoy the chats, please shoot me that thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Make sure you hit your bell icon so that you get notifications. If you are not receiving notifications, a lot of my subscribers have come to me and said they're not getting the notifications. Please just make sure you check every day. I post every single day. I do my live streams 3 days a week. Veterans Angel, marry me. Well, I don't even know what you look like, Veterans Angel. But thank you for that offer. I appreciate that. But, make sure you check every day, because I'm posting every day, and I do live streams on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every week. So I'm always here, and I post once or twice a day as well. Today I put up 2 videos today. So, but I'm not going anywhere. So just, look for me, and I'm always going to be here. So we got to do this now, since we got a good crowd of people in here right now. We are Legion, guys. We're this huge family. We are preppers and off-gridders. We're a huge network of people from all over the country and all over the world. So we got to do. So sorry to your nose. Boston, Massachusetts, BC, Canada. Where's everybody from? Tell me where you guys are from. We got Michigan, Sodish, Michigan, Hawthorne, California, Northwest Arkansas, Chicagoland, Tilson, New York, Maine, Wisconsin, Ontario, New York, Virginia, Ontario, Canada, Northwest, let's see, Mobile, Alabama, New Zealand, Texas, South Dakota, West Virginia, Indiana, England, Ohio, let's see, Florida, North Florida, Calgary, Alberta, let's see, New Jersey. It's going fast, guys. Naples, Florida. Oh, that's cool. Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Georgia, Washington, Southern Oregon, San Diego, living in Vegas, very nice. Illinois, Alabama, Ohio, Baltimore, Michigan, Minnesota, Alaska, very cool. Central Florida, West Virginia, very nice. Montreal, Canada, okay, very nice. Northern Iowa, Oklahoma, Sooner State, Western New York, Minnesota. So, guys, all over the place, all over the world, all over, we are this huge network of people, and we are the people that really, truly can make a difference when the time comes. We really can. And it's an opportunity. We're blessed. You know why we're blessed? Because we're awake. That's our biggest blessing that we have, guys, that we are awake, that we see what's going on, and that we're trying to do something to prepare for that. And I think, like I said, when that time comes, we can make a difference. I really think we can. And again, some people will say no, they're not helping anybody. Again, it's going to be a personal choice. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. There's no judgment on my part from that. But if you can help a little bit, or bring people into your group that are going to help your group, please be open to that, because you're going to end up meeting people that are decent people that need help. And always go with your gut feelings, guys. If you get any kind of inclination that somebody is nefarious or they give you a bad vibe, do not let them in. And if you have to at that point, take care of them so that they can't go and hurt somebody else. You got to go with that feeling. And I'm going to tell you what, I know my gut has never been wrong, so I always go with that feeling. Let's see. 40 minutes from civilization is okay. Yeah, absolutely. Living a sweet journey. Yeah. If you're 40 minutes away from any major thing, that's a good area to be. It makes, the farther out you can be, the better it's going to be. Smaller towns are a lot more lenient when it comes to different things. So, that part is good as well. And, getting away from the BS, it's a great feeling. And I know there's a few people on here that have their own homesteads and stuff like that. And I'm sure they're going to agree with me. It is a better way of life, and it is awesome, and it's nice. The Gemini gut is never wrong. You are right about that, and I am a Gemini. So, it's... I have that. I have that anyway. That intuition, if you will, or sixth sense. I read people really, really well. Always have, and so I'm lucky in that aspect. So it's like if I like when I met Chris and Greg. Okay, we're talking absolutely salt of the earth people. They are absolutely awesome, and so it's a pleasure to be friends with them. You know what I mean? And it's not all take and no give. I like helping people out if I can. And, and Greg is, we've done some wheeling and dealing with different things, and it's worked out well, probably more in his favor than mine, but I'm not in a contest for that. That's not what it's about for me. So, so we've done some bartering and some trading, and that's a good thing. So, but he's a good dude. He is a good dude, and I think those guys are awesome. And I love having them as neighbors. And when the time comes, huge asset, absolutely huge. I got to tell you what I did to him the other day, guys. So I go up to Greg and Chris's the other day, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was beautiful, beautiful day, and I was out on the bike. So I get up there and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Well, the government has said that when we're having inclement weather like we're having now, with beautiful blue sunshiny skies, I said that we need to check on our elderly neighbors." And oh my God, they laughed. So I was telling them I was doing a welfare check. I was making sure they were okay. So, but I just like to bust chops. I like to bust Greg's chops more because he is kind of he's more stoic. So I have to bust his chops. It's just because it's good for him. So, but they're great people. Love those guys. So, do you plan on having any pigs on the homestead? JJ just asked that. Eventually, I would like to. I would like to get a pig in the spring. Raise when I get to a point where I can have my own underground freezer that I'm going to use, underground cold storage. I'd like to raise a pig up in the spring and then butcher it in the fall, and then have that meat all down in that cold storage underground. That I would like to be able to do. And so, yeah, I definitely would like to do that. There's a couple other things that I would like to do in that aspect as well. So it just, those things are just going to take time. They will come together, and it's just a matter of, doing that. So what are you prepping for your animals? Well, I always try to make sure I have enough feed on hand for them, for the cats, for the dogs, and those type of things. You got to understand something, guys. SHTF happens. Meat for the animals, as far as the cats and the dogs, there's going to be plenty of meat, if you know what I mean. Long pork, if you will, and they're going to be able to eat. So I think it sounds terrible, but that's reality. And so, we're going to still have some of the dry foods and stuff like that, but how long will that last? You just don't know. So there'll be other alternatives for the animals to eat. They're good to have. They're going to keep that mice population down with having the cats and stuff like that. And that's important as well. Are you planning on having horses? No, I don't have a big enough property to have horses or cows. So I only have 3 acres here. So I'm going to stick with I definitely want to get goats. I want to have, rabbits down the road here as well. I already have the chickens. So, I want to go with those type of animals as far as that goes. And, goats for their milk, for cheese and stuff like that. I think goats are cool anyway. So I think, and then that will clear out a lot of this. I can move them around and clear an area out. So that's what I'll probably do with them. So, but, I'll tell you what, here it is already 9 o'clock. This hour goes by so fast every time, guys. I enjoy having all of you on here, and thank you to all my moderators that get on here and monitor the chat. I appreciate you guys. You're awesome. And welcome, Mr. Rose, as a new monitor. Thank you for offering, and welcome aboard. So I enjoy it, guys, and I appreciate all of you. I do. With great comments in the chat. And it's awesome. So thank you all. I appreciate it. So anyway, guys, again, if you haven't shot that thumbs up, do so now before we sign off here. We're at 419, so good amount of thumbs up today. So thank you for that as well. Again, guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell icon. And even if you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is playing those games. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. I've enjoyed it. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. That's important to remember. Also, remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. Also, remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from getting there is you. Nobody else can stop you, okay? So just stay focused, and you'll be fine. Guys, thank you again. I will see you all in the video tomorrow, so look for that, and we will go from there. All right? Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.